All right, let's move on to our takeaway number 3. It's got to be Tua. It's
It
got to be
does.
Tua, man. I mean, in the moment, it seemed like he's having a good game, and then you start looking at it after the fact and realizing that, goodness gracious, what the heck are we doing out there? He, there's no other way to describe it but that he's just a roller coaster, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and he's
Yep.
too old at this point to still be playing in such a roller coaster fashion, right? Like season 1, 2, and 3, you're like, okay, it takes 3 years to get acclimated to the league and to the speed of the sport and all those other things. I mean, I don't even know, what is it, year 6, year 7? Like,
Mhm.
what are we doing here, man? Late
Yeah.
game mistakes in 3 games in a row to
Yeah.
lose us. Well, he didn't lose us the first one. Plenty of things we did wrong on that one. But loses us the Patriots game, we could have easily won that one. Loses us the Bills game, which we were definitely in
Mhm.
towards the end.
Mhm.
I mean, that I get it. Does Kurt Warner's come out in defense of him and said, that that throw for the interception is what he would have done too. It's him reading the defense. But when the chips are on the table and it's time to seal the win, Tua's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and that's been the real big thing, right?
Mhm.
For a lot of his career, but also mainly this year. It's not the lack of production. It's the key mistakes and big moments when the game is on the line, or when the tide is starting to turn in the team's favor, or when the defense just stepped up after playing and then basically an entire quarter in the second game, played all of the first quarter pretty much because all the offense was doing was going in and out, three and out rather. Then to get on the field, put a play together, put another play together, bam, backbreaking interception. This game, driving the field, we have a chance at really kind of the defense stops Josh Allen. We were struggling all night. They got it done. We get on the field. We make a run, a good chunk run by Achan. Bam, to adjust back. Sees Hill, locks in on Hill. You can see it on the tape. He doesn't move his eyes. He doesn't look at any other reads. Locks onto him. And yes, Tyreek Hill made the wrong play. He ran the wrong route, which is another thing that we can talk about. Tyreek Hill runs the wrong routes all the time because
I'll
he
talk
should have.
about it later.
Yeah, he should have cut in front of. Fine. We'll talk about it later.
Mhm.
But Tua needs to have situational awareness. I understand you're trying to get arguably one of the best players on your team the ball to make a play, but read the fucking room, dude. You know what I mean? Like maybe go to your second or third read before you make that pass, or maybe
Mhm.
check it down, right? Because you can't make those mistakes.
Yeah, to me, I think this is a good question. Do we think that the Dolphins' talk theory of injuries catching up to Tua or prior concussion is affecting him? I don't see it that way. To me, he's playing scared. He doesn't trust his offensive line. He's
Mhm.
regularly dropping and running out of the pocket instead of stepping up into the pocket. He's regularly not trusting his receivers, which I can't say I blame him too much to Josh's point he just made. When your lead guy is consistently running the wrong route, what are you supposed to do about that?
Yeah.
And I just think that, like, I think defenses have caught up to what he does well.
Mhm.
And you heard it from Xavier Howard after week 1. Like, if you kill his first read, it's incredibly difficult for him to move on to the next one. And while that may be a simplification of what's going on, I'm sure Xavier would have loved to go in the details, but
Of course. Yeah.
who's going to understand it? I think that's a pattern you've seen now 3 weeks in a row, is the panic button in his brain is pressed as soon as that first read doesn't happen the way he expects it to, whether it's Tyreek running the wrong route or the receiver falling
Mhm.
or whatever it is his instinct isn't to make a play, it's to survive.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing out there. We're seeing a quarterback that's playing to survive, not a quarterback that's playing to win.
Yeah, and I specifically don't think that Mike McDaniel in particular, because he's the key driver in these play designs, right? At least from what we understand.
Mhm.
I don't think Mike McDaniel is doing him any favors either. Like I'm not
No,
putting all of this on Tua, right? I
no.
think the play design is also something that other teams are catching up to, right? And Mike McDaniel thinks very highly of himself, it seems, in that aspect, and is refusing, for all intents and purposes, based on what I can see, to make any sort of mass changes and to adjust with the times. He's still running the same style of offense that he ran when he first got here. And if that's fine, if this type of motion offense is your foundation, that is totally fine. But you have to adjust to the adjustments. And he's not adjusting to the adjustments, which then leads to to make mistake after mistake after mistake because defenses know how to play him now. Because how was Tua successful in 2023? Teams didn't know who was doing what. So Tua could sit back there because defenses had to drop off. And he could survey the field and do what he does best, which is be accurate.
Yeah.
Now teams know exactly what's going on.
You know what I mean? That's an amazing point. I didn't even think about that. It's that all of the trickery hasn't changed. So teams have seen it on film. They know it's coming. And that's it. Like as soon as they see the formation or the guy in motion, they know what's going to happen. And that's not
none of that is letting Tua off the hook because Tua has played like dog shit all year. Like pardon my French, but I there's no other way of saying it. It's just it's a I don't know. I can't think of the term right now, but it's a comedy of errors, right? Because it's all across the. It's Tua, it's the wide receivers, it's half of our offensive line is a third string offensive line at this point. It's the coaching staff not adjusting. It's a mess, dude.
Yeah, which a blind squirrel could have seen. And we're going to talk about Grier next, trust me. But how many times this offseason did we mention, hey, man, if one guy in this offensive line gets hurt, that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
Guess what? Three guys on the offensive line got hurt. It's more than over.
Yeah. And Abel makes a really good point here, right? Versus complementary football. You were screaming on it on Frozen Fin fan show. But one side of the ball never helps out the other. And that is something that you and I have talked about all season. It's like the defensive does something well, the defensive side does something well, and the offensive shits the bed. The offensive side does something well, and the defensive lets the other team run down and score a touchdown.
They forced 2 3-and-outs against Josh Allen. This defense, which is probably the worst defensive unit I've seen on this team in the Mike McDaniel era, forced 2 3-and-outs against Josh Allen, and we got 0 points off of it. Absurd.
Yeah, Absurd. And Black Eye here, McDaniel's the reason Tua has lasted this long. Yeah, no, I am not debating that.
Right? I love this question.
Yeah.
The statement, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And it's caught up to both of them. I could not agree with you more. And I think that is something that we've talked about, right? That Mike McDaniel is the reason Tua got a second contract, and Tua is the reason that Mike McDaniel hasn't been fired yet. They fully belong together because Anthony, I think you said it, was it last week or the week before? If another coach comes in, Tua's got to be gone because McDaniel's the best thing for Tua. And I don't know. I don't know what happens.
I like this statement though, because I was going to ask you the question. Yeah. Tua's contract is tricky, and yes, we can get out of it, and yes, there's always levers we can pull, whatever. Mm-hmm. But if another coach comes in, and like we heard when Mike McDaniel was not our first choice or even our 17th choice, guys were coming in and being told you need to work with Tua, right? Mike was really the only one that came in and was like, "Cool, I'll do that."
Yeah, I can figure it out.
Yeah. If that caveat exists again, if McDaniel and Grier are let go tomorrow, and the next guy is being told, "Oh, you got to work with Tua," is there anything left in the tank there? Do we think that Tua as a player has something left? There's just maybe this scheme, he's outgrown the scheme, or I don't know, maybe the off the field issues and the head cases in the offensive rooms are getting to him. I don't know. Like, we've seen a lot of growth out of Tua, but I feel like this season especially, and much of last season, it has stagnated.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know the answer to that question because I'm admittedly a Tua guy. I think Tua has all of the tools to be a good quarterback, and not a great quarterback, not a top 5 quarterback in this league. I'm not delusional, but a quarterback that can get a team regularly to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Whether or not they win the playoffs, that's a whole nother conversation. However, I don't know what I've seen from Tua. I mean, you go back to 2023, you asked me this question. I'm like, bring somebody in. They'll make it work with Tua. Tua will adjust. He's smart. He can figure it out. You asked me that question this year. I don't really know. And to be completely frank, even as a Tua guy, as a guy that has signed Tua gear and has a Tua jersey and has been one of the very few people in our collective group of Dolphins fans, Anthony, that is like, I'm a Tua guy.
Yeah.
If we get a new coach and the coach doesn't want Tua, fucking get Tua out of here. Team first. Sorry. You know what I mean? I play for the front of the jersey, not the back of the jersey.
Yeah, this without a doubt. I mean, 4,600 yards in 2023 with 29 touchdowns and 14 picks, which has always been the problem is the picks, man. To last year, 2,800. I know he only played 11 games, but his average dropped an entire yard. He was sacked 21 times in only 11 games.
Yep.
Uh, like,
I think for Tua to be successful, he needs an all-pro offensive line.
yeah.
And the fact that Chris Greer doesn't recognize that is frustrating.
And we've seen we just saw that with Carson Wentz in Minnesota. We
Mhm.
saw that with Daniel Jones in Indianapolis so far this year.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, listen, if you are a limited quarterback, you need an offensive line and a defense.
Mhm.
Trent Dilfer won a freaking Super Bowl. He was not a Super Bowl winning quarterback,
No. No.
right? The team cut him after that year. He won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl and
Which is
got
wild.
cut.
Yeah.
How often does a Super Bowl winning quarterback get cut?
I mean, shit, look at Minshew, right?
Yeah,
Didn't I
he
mean
made the playoffs. Yeah,
with the
with the
Eagles,
Jaguars.
right?
Yeah.
Well, didn't he play for the Eagles? And who am I thinking of? Maybe it's not Minshew.
No, that was Nick Foles.
Foles, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, Foles, same situation, right?
Yeah, but Minshew brought the Jaguars to the playoffs, and then the
Yeah.
next year they drafted Lawrence, and
That's gone
bye.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well, maybe
know,
it was 2 years after that they drafted because they wouldn't have had a first round pick after the or first overall pick after the
yeah,
after making the playoffs.
I know
So
what you mean. But basically, long story short, I'm not to be repetitive, but I care about the name on the front of the jersey as opposed to the name on the back. Do I like Tua? Yes. Do I
it,
think Tua has the tools? Yes. Do I think he's putting them together this year? Absolutely not. And that's troubling.
and what stinks about it is that I was really hoping Tua came in with haters for no reason.
Yes,
Similar
very
to,
much so.
I mean, Shador is not that similar to Shador. Shador has haters for a lot of reasons,
Wow. Yeah.
but
Me
it's
included.
it's not for his play on the field, right?
No.
And Tua came in. It went from tank for Tua, everybody wanting Tua,
Mm-hmm.
to
We
everybody
can't
hates
believe we passed Herbert, right?
right for
Yeah.
no reason really, other than the fact that we passed on Herbert to
Mm-hmm.
get Tua. And now Herbert has been a okay quarterback. I mean, he's looking pretty good this year, but he's also battled injuries on a regular basis, same as Tua, although it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't get talked about that often. So my point is, I really wanted to see him succeed. I
Same.
really wanted him to prove all the doubters wrong. But at a certain point, and I know this is what Ross is thinking too, because he hears the noise. He ain't
Of course he
stupid.
does. He's not
Like
stupid.
he wanted the same thing. But at a certain point, man, you have to admit that the experiment's over. It's time to move on.
Yeah, and I will say this, right? And I know, speaking of moving on, I know we have to move on to the next point.
Yes.
However, I will say this. I'll end my statement with this. If Ross this offseason bounces Tua and the coaching staff, but we're talking about Tua, bounces Tua because of a new coaching staff or whatever the case is, I will respect him for it because I respect companies in general that give employees the opportunity to improve. Even if you're stumbling and you're tripping over your own feet, he cannot leave this team and say, "Well, they didn't give me the chance. They didn't put the things that." Dude, we gave you every single. We gave you weapons.
Yep.
50+% of the quarterbacks in this league would die to have.
Well,
And you didn't. And if you don't do anything with them, at a certain point, that's on. To your point, that's on you, dude.
yeah.
Like that's nobody else's fault.
And when I mean, look what happened there with Flores, even right. Like,
Yeah.
wait, he did not get along with Flores. So which one got the boot? Right? It wasn't Tua that got the boot. It was Flores that got the boot after a winning season. So like,
I mean, yes, Flores got the boot for many other reasons, but yes, I
yeah,
get your
but
point.
listen, I know you don't like Flores, but there were many players that we liked that came out in favor of Flores.
Of
So
course.
like,
What
there's
else
two
was I gonna
sides to
say?
every story here. And look, we kept Tua instead of Flores. Flores doesn't have a head coaching job, but he's doing pretty good things up there in Minnesota. Tua's here. He did pretty good things for us for a little bit, getting a
Mhm.
coach with builds confidence and that is a player's coach. But now we're seeing that hasn't really amounted to what we hoped it would either. So I don't
Right.
know if there's any winner in that situation, really.
There really
Um,
isn't. No.